past, so I tell you, the accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make, firm, establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Shara Ogin. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for your continued support, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Ray, and I love to help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, and transform their present, so they can take charge of their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use future life progression, past life regression, angelic Reiki, guided meditation, angel oracle cards, hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their reason for being here. And I've also created a transformational journey to help you take charge of your destiny and a journey through lifetimes. Now, each episode of the show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Shara Ogin, who'll be talking about how you have the power to reprogram unhealthy patterns and heal emotional wounds that lie beneath all pain states. Now, Shara works as an intuitive coach, clairvoyant and life coach, and a medical intuitive, and is most passionate about helping people to remove those invisible blocks and barriers that stand in the way of them accessing their fullest potential and desires. Now, Shara believes that when unmet needs and emotional wounds of youth are unhealed, they can, down the road, result in illness and disease. Now, Shara has published a book and a workbook entitled Unlocking the Body's Wisdom, Accessing Your Healing Powers from Within, which is a good read, where she outlines over 140 diagnoses, root causes, and viable solutions. So just look up your illness or disease, and there are loads in there, in the appendix of the book to gather this wealth of information and easy action steps to take. She has also authored 6 DVDs and an online program on pain prevention titled The Body That Heals Itself. She has 2 group programs that she leads live. One is the manifestation program to help you to step into the life that you have only dreamed about. And the other is a 5-month breakthrough limitations group coaching program. Now, her books are available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Shara has been a student teacher of transformational friendship leadership work for the past 25 years. And with testimonials such as, when I first met Shara, I was in the midst of a divorce, a move, and my career path was uncertain. Our work together has helped me to gain more clarity and peace in all these areas. She has helped me to learn how to love myself once again. And from every first session, she could really see what was blocking me from achieving what I wanted. She's incredibly intuitive, and every session with her, I felt more and more in tune with myself. So without further delay, hello, Shara, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Brilliant. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this show, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Shara and I want you to be part of this conversation. So please do not be shy. So Shara, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we have the power to reprogram unhealthy patterns and heal emotional wounds that lie beneath all pain states?
Thank you. Okay. First of all, I want you to know that whatever you're going through, like on the physical, and I work with both physical and emotional pain, because of neuroplasticity, we're now learning that we have the ability to shift so much, and I'm like living proof of like completely shifting the life that you're living. Okay. My life that I'm living now is nothing like the life that I was growing up into. So, gosh, I don't even know like exactly where to jump in, but let me just tell you that I had sort of a spiritual awakening, or my greatest transformation, when I was about the age of 40 to 42. About just age myself here, about 8 years ago. And prior to doing this work, I was consumed with limiting beliefs, consumed with feeling like I was on the outside and I wasn't good enough. And then when I started to see, so I entered into a psychic training, and I started to shift the energy, see the root of what was going on beneath everything, like whether it's through past lives, and started to heal myself through forgiveness and understanding and compassion, and release like the strong energy vibration that I was holding in myself, energy of resentment. I just literally freed myself. All the emotional wounds, all the unmet needs that I had growing up, I literally liberated myself of all of those, to the point where, first of all, I realized I had this ability to create such a shift within other people as well. So after I shifted myself, so the shift within myself came that I had unconditional love. I had this ability to move through all of my limiting beliefs and all of my unmet needs, and my like literally spine, my whole body aligned. So the mind and the body worked as one. One of my biggest blocks was around love. I never really had experienced love before this time. And after that, I experienced love. I had a baby at age of 47 who I love, and I'm in a happy marriage and financial abundance. You know, things just come with a lot more ease. My whole life before that was about effort. And one of my pre-programming, my family beliefs was money and success only comes with effort. And so I'm sure many of you could relate, like going through whatever career you're doing, to put so much of us are conditioned to put in so much effort. And really, when you're living your calling, which is how we all want to actually make money, is through living our calling, it doesn't have to be so effortful or so much contraction.
Excellent. Yeah, and we do sometimes think that we need to do so much to
Yeah.
actually we make things more complicated, I think, sometimes than they actually are.
Yes, exactly. So my past, I was working in the medical field. I don't think I put that in my, anyways, I worked for about 25 years in the medical field, helping people with their physical pain as a therapist. And when I had this spiritual awakening and I kind of shifted careers out of the therapy work into this intuitive coaching, which is psychic readings and coaching, and I also have a reverend's license, this amazing thing happened that people would come to me partially for physical, or maybe they would come to me because they want love or whatever issue. A lot of people still feel pain on the physical level. And what happened is, as I was doing these readings, their physical pain would literally go away. Sometimes people come to me with chronic pain because I have a big background of working with neurological and chronic pain. You know, I just have worked with those people on the medical level for like 25 years. So I'm very comfortable with whatever people are going through. And as I was doing these readings, their pain would literally just go away. So I started to outline the results that I was getting, like outline the limiting beliefs. Like if people say diagnoses, I instantly see this physiological state that their body's in, and I see the emotions and the belief that goes on underneath it. And then so I trained myself to see what was standing in the way of them like being free of this diagnosis and illness. And then as I was able to clear it, like I said, their symptoms cleared. And so this is the basis of the book that I started to write, was I outlined all these diagnoses and illnesses and strategies for how to heal them. And most of us, especially people who are drawn to your work, whatever medical condition people have, and I don't mean like big disease, I mean, maybe you just have some backache or neck ache, we think that's normal, but that's not normal. That's something in our body that's out of balance. And the discomfort is simply just acting as a messenger. It's like an alert system that something needs to be looked at in your life that's bringing you out of alignment. And maybe the light bulb has already gone off. Like even if you went to see a doctor and the doctor did tests and told you something, you also have this intuition that there's something otherwise. There's something like, maybe it's like the pushing you're doing with your husband, or the holding on, or the over worrying that you're doing, whatever it is. This is where I shine the lens of focus on accessing your healing powers from within. It's that intuitive, like coming from that intuitive place to really just know yourself, because you know yourself better than anybody else. And it takes deep reflection, meditation, coming into a still, silent place to get this information and connecting to your heart, the information that will help guide you as to what it is that's particularly throwing you off balance. And then once you start to find this area, the information, you might see a correlation to the physical state of discomfort, if you have any, that's going on, or maybe it's just on the emotional. So I work I'd say about 50-50 physical and emotional pain. Whatever it is, whether it's looking for love, trying to have a baby, you're in your 40s, or just trying to find your life path, your career, your purpose. There's something that's blocking you. And until you remove this big boulder out of the way, then you might remain stuck.
Yeah.
And then when you remain stuck, if it's too uncomfortable, then it's going to show up on the somatic level. It's going to show up in some really uncomfortable way until you remove it, or you just stick with it, and then it's still going to be there. I suggest removing it.
Yeah, I mean, removing things are so much easier than leaving here.
Yeah.
We've got Graham watching, and he says, "Do you think, Shara, that our inner being energy is already knowing, has the info for self-enlightenment, or that we have to learn it?"
Great question, Graham. Well, first of all, I think that it's a process. I think that we're all put here into this lifetime, into our bodies, to learn numerous lessons. And I think everybody has about, let's say, 5 or 6 big life lessons that show up in the form of like limiting beliefs and circumstances. So think of life as a classroom. And like nobody just comes in with having everything, having complete happiness and bliss. And those people who teach like happiness and bliss, they had their own journey to get there. That's why they're teachers of it. So I do think that the information you need for your, I wouldn't say enlightenment, because enlightenment is like a target goal that once you get there, you'll probably be at the level of death, or Buddha, which is very few people have to. But the purpose of life is really to evolve ourselves. And heal, so that when we come in the next time, we'll be at one level of consciousness. And by doing that, it increases the consciousness and the expansion at the universal level. Okay, so as we're getting this wisdom and this information, sometimes it comes in the form of an illness or a car accident or cancer. If you look at everybody who's had these hardships and traumas, after they overcome it and get away from the emotional, sticking points, they have grown and they've evolved because of that experience. Okay, I'm reading your question.
Yeah. So Graham has actually said, "No, I meant to understand that which you came here with."
Right. Yes. So it's like the answer is yes to both of your questions, is that we came here already with it, but unfortunately there is kind of like these, I kind of look at it this way: before you, and you could, I understand not everybody's going to agree with my perspective, and before I had my spiritual awakening, I probably would have thought I'm talking some woo and some crazy smack too. So, just take it for what it's worth. And if this doesn't resonate with you, just let it move through. This is my belief, before you take a life, there's certain lessons that everybody needs to learn. And these lessons are consistent with our past lives. And so, yes. Well, let me just finish my thought though. So it's like, I need to learn how to be loved. I need to learn how to use my abilities to actually help other people, whatever it is. And also on the physical plane too, we have maybe, I actually just did this past life reading right before this call. And she was like, why am I having so much intestinal and colon problem? And I saw that this past life, she was in a war zone and they like came out of her. And so we were doing healing on that. And she's still kind of like healing the wounds. We're all healing our wounds of our past life. So we come in both to heal the past, to heal the present, and to heal the future, and to heal ancestry. It's a very, very complex system.
Yeah.
So just because you have these, like what might feel like heavy burdens or traumas, like whether it's like physical abuse coming in from poverty, these are the things that are going to actually teach us. So when you say, do we actually already know the information? At a soul level, I think you do, but you're not going to until you like actually go the course of your life journey to get to the evolved perspective. Then yes, I feel like we have the seed of it when we're born. I think that's the right answer.
Yeah, and Graham says, glad we're on the same page of their hugs. And he also says, oh, it resonates equally clear. Hugs. See, you answered it. So, what is Felenderac,
Oh,
Felen,
Price.
yeah.
Price is actually an Israeli Jew person. He's dead now. He created this amazing method, and he learned how to heal. Basically, his story in like a couple sentences is he had a debilitating knee injury, and the doctor told him he'd never walk again. And he realized that just by doing certain movements, he could teach himself how to let go of the anti-gravity muscles, which are the muscles that when you're standing cause you to contract, and use yourself in a more efficient manner. So this is a 4-year training I did. Yeah, it's a 4-year training to become a Feldenkrais practitioner, and it's amazing. First of all, it's really taught me how emotions and life circumstances are held in the body. I could literally look at a person and see exactly where they're holding in their body and exactly where they need to let go. And because of my years of Feldenkrais, you could do either as a class or as a body work. So after my years of doing this method, I actually know how to touch a person in a way that will help them to let go. So this is a perspective I take in my book, and my life perspective is we must heal ourselves from the physical level and from the emotional level. Coming from both outlets are better than just one outlet. So if I heal someone's mind, heal someone's like clear limiting beliefs, for instance, give more freedom on whatever, or guilt or shame, whatever emotions we're contracting around, that will shift us on the physical level. And just the opposite is true as well. So before COVID, I used to do a lot more in person. Now, actually, almost all my work is virtual. But it's okay, because even after I do psychic readings and clearings, people's spine literally just like clears. And when people are seeing me for readings and coaching, I always usually start by asking what the level of pain is. And it always, like I said at the beginning, it almost always shifts. So, one helps the other.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Graham says unlocking their chi, maybe,
Oh,
possibly.
Paul says, can you check what I'm holding? Ooh, that's a.
Well,
Um,
there's no picture of him.
I used to do, for like several months, I did live energy healings where I would literally just have a group of people and I would just like be doing clearings right now. I don't know if this is the right platform for that right now, but I could actually.
Okay, well, Paul seems to think no one can find it. Have a go. I know you're not looking at his pictures, so that might be a bit more difficult, but
Okay, you want me to have a go? See where Paul Seraphin is holding?
yeah.
All right, energy healing space. Wow. So the picture I see for you, Paul, is it's like right at your right foot. This is really interesting. It's almost like putting a noose around your foot, like with a rope, and like having to like lift up your right foot. So what does that mean? I do see the energy of your right foot like pulling you backwards. So there's some sort of like fear to you walking forward. What specifically you're holding? I'm seeing that this is like, I would have to take a little bit longer, which I'm going to refrain from doing, to like look into past lives. But really, the energy is there right at your foot. So I'm just going to do a very brief clearing on your right foot. Okay, good. I just saw this like white dove flying free. And the words, I also have clairaudience. So the words coming to me are, it's okay to just be. Like, you don't need to like take leaps and bounds today, but it's okay to just be. Okay. Also, it looks like your right foot is like almost like this hooking into the ground right now. I just saw like this pirate hook. And so like, or with like cement with your right foot. And so I'm just going to free that image of that cement. And you might experience this lightness in your right leg and right foot after this. Okay, that's just a little start.
Yeah. Yeah. So Paul says he had both their ankle surgeries.
Not surprised. Mm-hmm.
And that.
And it will, I mean, it will be interesting to see what the root of that is, because there's always a root with every surgery and every part of your body. There's past life energy on that, and there's also childhood. So I like to go to the root to actually dislodge it.
Yeah, so Paul, contact Shara and get a diagnosis. Carla's here and she sent us some hearts, which is lovely. And Paul says, okay, thank you. He will contact you, which is lovely. Yeah, which is good. And Graham has says, I felt that, Shara. Oh.
Oh, cool. Yay.
Brilliant. They thank you, Graham. So how did the books come about? Because obviously you're doing this work. What gave you an idea to do the books?
Well, it was really this book was a 4-year process to write, and just I just have so much information that's out of the mainstream. So most all of my information doesn't come from other people's books. But really, during COVID, that was the time I was like, I just got the message. I felt stuck. I felt like I had this block right then that I was not like sort of like I had completed with a lot of clients. I had the space in my time and schedule, and then like literally the universe, it was like the clouds just parted, and we're like, okay, for this next month, I'm not going to have any clients come to you. It was like it was funny because energetically, I didn't even want it anyways, but I had to like literally just sit with myself and be like, all right, now is the time to like literally just sit your ass down for like 40 hours a week for 5 months to get this freaking book done. And it's been like literally, even though I published it maybe 2 months ago, I've actually still been working on it for the last like month. So really, I just actually updated the last edits 3 days ago. So I think it's actually done as of today.
Excellent. Oh,
Yeah.
that's really good. And Graham's had to go. Thank you, Graham, for popping in, and we'll speak to you soon. Yeah, because is it you got 2 or 3 books?
Actually, I have 3 books. So before this, I did more mainstream. So I wrote a book called A Quick Guide to Easing Pain in the Workplace, and beyond. And so I was an ergonomist and an occupational therapist and a Feldenkrais practitioner. So I still wear both hats because in general I'm not a very woo person, and my upbringing, my whole family is like from the medical field, so I was very mainstream upbringing. It wasn't until I started to like see all these things that like my whole world just basically shifted. So I still have both perspectives, and I take in a lot of the medical, a lot of like postural stuff. I also have like synesthesia because I also spent a long time working with relationships and intimacy, so understanding limbic feelings and sensations. And so I have this ability to like feel and see and hear at the same time, and to like I could literally just look at a person and I could, with my eyes shut or long distance, see where the energy blocks are, and I could have my coaching hat on or my medical hat, whatever is needed at that time. That's the cool thing.
Oh, that's been you see, and I love that because although I'm from a very spiritual background, I've got a very analytical mind.
Yeah,
So
I see you. We have
I've
that in common. Yeah,
I've always been questioning everything, and so
yeah,
it's when I see things that work both
yes.
spiritually and scientifically, it's kind of like it's so brilliant, and I think that everything scientific has come from something spiritual, and something spiritual there's always got a bit of science behind it. I think the two. I don't know why we always sort of like separate them both, because really they both work together.
Well, before things come onto the physical plane, there's an energy of it first. Okay, so these are a lot of concepts that I never really understood. In the law of attraction, I heard all the principles, like you have to be it first before it becomes. But literally, because I've had coaching trainings and I've heard all that. But like literally, when I actually see the energy shifts, then everything changes. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like sometimes I work with clients, and people might come to me because they want love, or come to me because of, actually, I have several clients I'm working with sexual abuse. Interesting. But they're coming to me because they have like chronic physical pain, or they're stuck in their career. But this is the shit that needs to be cleared before we get to like career, like in my packages, I'm like, great, let's focus on career. And then we don't even talk about that until like the very end, because it's like we have to let go of the baggage. And after we let go of the baggage, we have like so much more freedom. I had another thought, but I think I just lost it. So it'll come back in a second. We'll just bring me back. Bring me back.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Lisa is here and she says, evening, so I'm like, that's okay,
Hi,
Lisa.
Lisa.
And Bahava says, thanks, Doc. Uh, so thank you, Bahava. So when you're um, sort of like you just did that demonstration with Paul, has it always been that you see it, or and you hear it, you see and hear it, or are there other things that come into play as well? Are they the two main ways that you work?
Okay, I just have like three things I want to say at once. To answer your question, it hasn't always been that way. In fact, I grew up kind of like feeling like I don't know anything, like I don't like literally just the opposite of how I am. This is the degree of healing I've done is I came in and I didn't know anything. You would ask me like, how do you do this? Or what do you think about this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I was like lost inside, empty inside. Now I'm like, I know, because that's seventh chakra. I've really honed and ironed that in. It's so when I do things, I go all the way in. Like for instance, like the intimacy work, I did 7 years because I needed to heal myself. The universe brought me there, and I like went all in, and I learned everything that I needed to know about that. I became a teacher of that work as well. And then that taught me to feel, but I didn't have the seeing until I took the clairvoyant training, which also was a 4-year training. So I basically did like 3 4-year trainings, actually 5, coaching, like clairvoyant, reverend, Feldenkrais, and the intimacy stuff. And so I just got really solid on that, on each thing. And now I'd say over the last few years, they've really merged, and people will just come to me and they're like, how do you work? And I'm like, I don't know, because
It just does.
it just literally, like, I just know when I have the person. I just know what's needed, and I can't give anybody a prescription before I see them and start working with them. What I was going to say before is I was going to share an example of how things on the environment shift when we do this work. For instance, a lot of times people come to me because of, say, an issue people are having with work. So we can't move forward if our mind is circling on something. Like, could be your boss, or it could be a relationship that you're having, or you're lonely, whatever it is. And so when we clear whatever it is that's in the way, the dynamic with that person shifts. It's like freaking crazy interesting. And you think you don't have any power or control around how your boss or how your friend, or but you do. And people ask me, are they actually in that session with me while I'm doing that? And my answer is yes. Anytime you switch your energy, everything around you shifts. The people who interact with you, and I do talk about this in my book, it's called like meta messages, or the morphogenic field, that you change your energy, and literally you will open your heart more. This is one of my pieces of advice, and people will have more love for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I see that as well, and it is, as soon as your energy starts changing, you just watch the energy around you change. It's absolutely amazing when you actually when you actually pay attention and notice it
So,
around.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually just looking at her question. I love this. First of all, I love to be challenged. Okay, no questions too hard. I mean, I might say I don't know, but anyways, okay. So I think I'm understanding your question, but let me know if this is incorrect. I'm unsure if you're saying like what's his and what's mine versus what your stuck points are in your body. Okay, so I'll answer from both perspectives, but I look at the okay. So I look at the energy body, and I could just see where the more congested area is, or the darker, and then there's something there. It could be like if it's in the 5th chakra, the throat, for instance, something needs to be spoken or expressed that isn't. And I think the best way, Lisa, for me to answer, if you have a specific example, like with a person and you're asking me what's his and what's hers, I could tell you specifically what is his and what's hers. So I'm actually unsure which angle you want me to answer this question from. So I'll just kind of hold off while you message me again.
Yeah. And Carla says, yeah, you change your energy, the world changes with you, which is absolutely true. It absolutely does. I like sometimes walking into a room, and
Yes.
it's sort of like you feel the sort of like the downwards, the slight negativity of energy,
Yes.
and I love going in there and then just sitting there and just sending
Right.
out positive energy from my
Yes.
heart, and just watching people kind of like that little shift, in their body. It's
Absolutely.
so
So this is
brilliant.
a positive. I'm going to make a uplifting statement. I hope it comes out that way. In coronavirus times, many of us have felt isolated.
Mm.
Isolated in that if you're a bad person, if you go out, there's some kind of message. I feel like if I go out anywhere other than to Safeway, I'm a bad person. Anyways, but the truth is we're all in this morphogenic field. So what I'm feeling really affects other people. Yes, when you're in closer proximity, like in an actual room together, you're gonna cross message each other, and this all happens on the subconscious field. But it is happening. So it's so easy to go into the story of isolation and alone. But I challenge you to actually feel the interconnection that's going on with other people. So there is a we. It's a we are going through this. We are going through this experience. And I've been really through this whole process. I was like, I'm not going to be pulled into the energy of fear. Like, everything around me is trying to pull me into the freaking energy of fear. And I was like, I sort of like, whatever, create a little bubble around myself. And I'm like, I'm opening the doors to just, actually, it's an opportunity for me to help more, because that is my life mission, is to just help as many people as I can.
Yeah. So Lisa, okay, he's energy then.
Well, I don't exactly know what you mean by he, and that sounds a little personal too. Like, I could get as personal as you want, but yes, I think that's really individual how to know. The best thing is to take your story outside of it, or come from a perspective outside of yourself. What would the fly on the wall see? And also, most people, when they're in conflict with someone, they're beating themselves up and they're hurting a lot more than they need to, like circling in thoughts. And some of the lowest vibrational fields are blame, judgment, and resentment. Anytime you feel yourself going off in a story, justification. Let's underline that 3 times. Anytime you're justifying your behaviors, that is a red flag. If you want me to expand on that, I will, but that is a big red flag for victimhood.
Yeah, it totally is. And Graham says, mindset along with attention opens that within, and your energy flows easier. Hence less baggage.
Lightness. We all actually want to be free and lighter.
Yeah.
I actually think this is the reason why I have such success with freeing people from pain, is because there's like these energy clogs, whether it's things that need to be spoken that haven't, or forgiveness, for instance. And once we like let go of that, there is this like less calcified when our unmet needs and our unspoken emotions get stuck in there. They get just in every organ and every blood flow and every hormone responds accordingly. And when you free yourself of that, then there becomes space. Now, usually it's stepping stones, because none of us, this requires identity shift. And we're not ready to go into such big identity shift, most of us, like overnight. It's just too dramatic, it's too scary. Most of us are where we are because of our programming and our beliefs and our biases, which has shaped our self-concept, which is basically our identity. Okay? It's who we are. And you have to shift every aspect of that, to shift your identity. It's tough work.
Yes, very, very, very tough work. But reading your book and the steps, you in there you've kind of like given some really practical ways of actually of relieving those symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So I would urge everyone, do check the book out, especially the workbook as well.
Yeah. What she's talking about is there's like 3 columns, and a third column of like diabetes or whatever we're writing about back pain. There's like specific limiting beliefs that people have. So then there's ways to shift out of those limiting beliefs. And the processes like belief change or integration work, that's in the workbook. So I do a lot of referring people to my workbook for how to heal from those specific things.
Yeah, it's well worth checking it out. So, as you know, I do angel oracle cards and guided meditation. So each week, I like to ask my guests what they would like me to do for themselves and those watching.
Oh, I want an angel oracle card.
Okay, I think we can do that. Funny enough, I had the cards in my hand, which is
Oh,
amazing.
I'm excited.
So, what does Shara? Oh, and now obviously, when I do the cards for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in
Okay.
time. So, although I work with the past, we clear the past to be fully present. And although I work with the future, when you know your future, you're not worried and you're in the present. So, before we do that, Lisa has said, I'm cool. Other half is struggling, refusing to talk about it under the guise of not wanting to stress me out because there's a lot going on. Like I'm some delicate flower. I'm not. Just wondering how I could help him with that blocked throat chakra.
Well, probably I'd say let's talk after. um, okay. You have this blocked throat chakra because, first of all, I see you have a lot of anger towards this man and like kind of like resentment, kind of like I see like a peg going into a hole and you're trying to push it in. And it's like he's done certain things that has you feel justified in how you're feeling. So basically, any woman you talk to would probably support your perspective. I think for you, well, first of all, in my workbook, I talk about a withhold practice to just like clear it out. You, first of all, I would really encourage you to journal this right now. Um, I have several processes too for doing that. Emotional, moving through the emotional body. And my, if you want to just email me, I'll just send you the emotional body exercise so that you could like write out. But just in a nutshell, it's like 10 minutes of just writing out your anger and then feeling it in your body and releasing it from your body, and then the sadness, and then working through all your emotions to come to the state of love. So basically, you're not cleared right now to see what's his and what's yours because this is like a culmination. And I could tell this is not just this. This is like a lifetime of resentment that has kind of like, kind of at this pinnacle of this is bringing it all up right now. So you need to have some sort of release. I see you could do this through just speaking it, or another idea is you could actually have a friend just be a sounding board and say, can you just listen? Don't give me any advice. I don't even want you to support me or like, like cuddle me in this. I just want somebody to hear this. And then after I get it all the way out, then if it's a good friend, that's someone that I only trust, like spiritual friends, I would say, tell me how much of this stuff is mine, or do whatever it takes to release your stuff. Because right now, a lot of your stuff and your pre-programming is in there right now. And he's done some crappy things as well that has you feel this way. Yeah. And for the journaling, what I recommend is there's several exercises, right? For 10 minutes. The withhold practice, this is what I just actually gave to my last client, is write all your resentments, all your angers. Just write until the pen doesn't want to go anymore. And then I want you to read it out loud, looking in the mirror. And then I want you to rip out that piece of paper into like, as many pieces and get it out of your house, put it in a different trash can, or you can burn it. So just free yourself. And you need to do stuff like this for several times until you get a clear head on it. And then it looks like you're kind of bubbling up to get closer to that place of love and forgiveness. Not right now, not today, but you will. And then when you get outside of this perspective, you'll be a lot cleaner around it, because truly what you want is clarity and connection with this person in the long run.
Perfect. And Lisa says, journaling okay. I will email you for sure. Thank you. Okay. And Graham, yeah, how many cards will fall through this time, right? Yeah, let's hope before I do this and cards just come jumping out. So we'll see if we can go without any jumpers today. So,
And because we're in the field together, I'm sure whatever you share with me is relevant to everybody here.
It is. Okay. So we did actually, whilst we're doing that, we had 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle those. So what Shara and everyone who's watching this need to know for their high school moment of time. So let's go with that one. Perfect. So we have valiant courage, take action with passion.
I love it.
And so it is basically saying that it is time to actually move forward with your passion, to actually be that knight. It's really confirmation for you, Shara, that really you're doing the right thing. You're now blazing your trail. You know, you've got that banner behind you. You're actually stepping out into the crowd, and everything. And it's saying, you know, you're fully supported doing this. So move forward, and do it with grace and ease, because there is so much there. It's like you've got the crowd, you know, clapping and cheering you to move forward. And for everyone that's watching this, again, it's kind of like saying to you, take those steps now with that courage. Now is the time really to actually step forward and become who you are truly supposed to be. Step out of your comfort zone, go out into that crowd, forge forward, you know, be that knight, moving forward, doing good, and really being yourself, truly being who you are meant to be, and sharing that with others. So yeah, that was a really interesting card to come out. And Lisa says, "Oh, that was interesting. It is. So move forward, Lisa." And that. And she also said, with reply to yours, "I have a brutally honest friend. I'll talk to her. Burn the paper. Got it. Thank you." So that's pretty good information that's worked on that. So that is brilliant. So Shara, do you have any thoughts or insights to leave our viewers?
Let me just see what card wants to come out of my brain right now. What is present for me right now is just love. Like, I just actually want everybody to put their hand on their heart right now and connect with your heart rhythm. Take a breath. And ask what is true for you. What is your truth right now in this moment? And I encourage you to stick with your truth, the truth that's true for you. And when you're ready, you could go ahead and open your eyes and drop your hands. And yeah, I'm just sending you so much love from my heart going forth with whatever you're put onto this planet to be doing. Everybody has a very unique, there's no other person who could do you, okay? Only you are doing you. And we need you to do more of you and to do it like fiercely, like the night that you just, on the card. And so I really want to encourage all of you to do you 100% and bring your golden light out there into the world.
Ah, that's absolutely perfect. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant words. So, before we do that, Graham says, "Thanks for the info, Ray and Shara. I have to leave. Hugs to you, Graham, and I will speak to you soon. And thank you for being part of the show today." So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this and found it insightful, and the words of wisdom that Shara has given you will help you further on your journey. So Shara, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
Well, the best way is through my website, which is my name, sharaogin.com, SHARAOGIN, or you could email me at the same sharaogin@gmail. And my book's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. And yeah, so connect with me if you want to just talk. I have retreats, I have programs, and like I'm just here. I'm honestly, like when you call me, it'll be like talking to a friend. I'm not like, all right, let me sell you on something. I'm like, let's just see what you need right now in this moment. If I could help you with anything, then I'm here for that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what I do is I'll post the links in the comments so that people can just literally click on them and they will go straight to the website, or anything else. And Lisa says, "Thank you, ladies."
Thank you, everybody.
Carla says, "That was
Sweet.
beautiful."
Thanks, Carla.
And thank you, Paul, Lisa, and Carla, as well as Graham, for joining with the show today. Because that's the idea, the show is your show as well. And when you interact with us and test my guests, that's absolutely brilliant, and that's what we enjoy. So if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need some help finding your life purpose or your destiny, um, or getting clear on your path, and I would love to be that guide for you. So please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and then we can arrange a free 20-minute video call to discuss how I can help you on your journey, and where you need to go, and if I can help you. And of course, if you want to join a community, then the Angel Wings membership community is open, where you get a chance to grow with ascended masters, archangels, gods, goddesses, oracle cards, and the other people in the community to help you spread your wings and soar. And of course, you can always sign up to the newsletter on my website to get a free guided meditation to help you de stress, plus a few other little bits and pieces. So, thank you everyone so much for watching. And I would like to remind you to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny, just like you, and would love to have the wisdom of Shara. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do, if you feel like it, subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of when the show goes live or anything else I do, like guided meditations on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you all again, same time, same place next week. Again, thank you, Graham, Paul, Lisa, Carla, for your comments. And thank you so much, Shara. It's been brilliant having you on the show. And I'm sorry that we put you on the spot, but hey.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.